Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of January 30th of 2023. Now, this week we are leaving the first official month of 2023, heading into February. Every week pulls us a little bit closer to energy consistently moving forward, feeling different, not feeling like things are in energetic purgatory, right? So these are all really fantastic energies that we are preparing this week for. Not to mention that this week we have got a full moon week as we get to Sunday. So as we're ending this week, getting ready for next week, we're coming in with a full moon in the energy of Leo at 16 degrees, which is such a big deal. I'll talk about that in just a minute, okay? Now, before we jump in, remember, first of all, you can get your digital transit calendar with a $17 discount in the description down below from our friends at the Wise Skies Collective. So check it out so you can track transits with me and see how they work in your personal chart all year long. As well, the Astrology 101 class, my teaching class to get you your basics, your planet signs, houses, aspects, how do the aspects work, and create a conversation. That class is still available in digital form for $25. It is in the description box down below. And if you did not have the opportunity to take advantage before of my sale for the year, where you get 4 30-minute check-in sessions, I've also just got a few of those left, and they are down in the description box down below. There's actually 4 or 5 of them left. I think there's 5 actually. So you can click in the description box down below. If that's a package you want to take advantage of, please do so. Click. Everything's in the description box down below. Chances for you to learn, get what you need to study, and have more astro in your life. All right, beautiful friends, in addition to the full moon happening this week, I am so excited to share my big news with you. And that is that my family and I are packing up and we are moving to Spain. So I am really excited not only to make that move, but also to be in the space of some of our other soulmate family that is going to be over there in Spain and be in the European area. So I'm really excited. Don't worry, content's staying the same here. As you guys know, you may have noticed that there is content out for March already, and there's going to continue to be content out because I typically prepare so far in advance so that you have these monthlies and things under your belt, that the information and the monthlies and the weeklies will still be there. Don't worry, I'm not losing step. I'm not going away. I'm not closing my practice. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. I'm just ready to use that 9th house sun and go on this very exciting nomadic journey. So I will be seeing you guys, coming up in some of the videos very soon from our new house in Spain. And you guys have actually already seen the new house in Spain in some of the content that I have made for you already. So I'm really excited to get back into that vibration. And I feel like I've been waiting weeks and weeks and weeks to be able to share that with you guys. But it's revelation time, especially at this full moon at 16 degrees of Leo, where we've got lots of expression, lots of surprise information, revelation, rebellion kind of coming up, and 16 degrees, so that you can keep this in your mind, is a really important degree this year, because when we even flash back to November 8th, the eclipse that we had in Taurus, that 16-degree eclipse is still being activated here at this 16-degree full moon. It's clicking into these 16-degree points where we're seeing stories that have already been unfolding, continuing that expression. And to go further into that, you guys, I've got a fantastic interview coming out for you on Monday with our friend Mango, the other astrologer who came, where we talked about the Scorpio-Taurus axes. We've got another interview coming out, and you guys can check that out on Monday, and we really get into that November 8th eclipse and how we're still seeing things play out right now. Lots of personal examples and all of that good stuff. So check it out. Check out your chart. Look what's lighting up for you this week at 16 degrees of your chart. Do you have a planet there? Do you have an asteroid? Do you have a point like one of your nodes? Do you have an angle? First house, fourth house, seventh house, 10th house. What's going on for you at 16 degrees? Because there's a story that has been unfolding and will continue this week, okay? Now, as we're coming into this week on Monday, love it. coming in brilliantly. We're going to be sliding at least into the evening portion on the 30th as we're going to close out with this energy still of the void of course moon. So again, it's another week where we're coming in really in a space of review. So one of the questions I ask you as you start this week is like, okay, first of all, how are you feeling in your body, right? Take a minute in the video, even if you need to pause me for a second, and feet on the floor, hands on your lap, hands down if you need to ground, hands up on your thighs if you need to gather energy, and let's do a check-in. How are you doing in your body, in your space? We've been, Mars is direct, yes, but it's not out of its post-retrograde shadow time. So the energy of wanting to do something, or the anxiety that can be coming up around something's coming, or what should I do, can very much so be there. And it's telling this wiggly kind of story throughout the body. As well as you check in with your body over this last weeks, have you had diseases, illnesses, sickness come up and come out of your body, and you have needed to recalibrate to tell that story? Have you had an abundance of energy show up? How are you feeling as we're coming into Monday in your body, in your space, in your breath? Now, just a little bit after this void of course moon, we're going to see the moon enter into the energy of Gemini, where we have still got the Mars rocking and rolling over here. So now we're officially bringing the moon. We're bringing the emotional connection, right? So the emotions, the body, the spirit, we're bringing it all together. And for the next couple days, as the moon is traveling through Gemini, first of all, lots of communication. That's why I ask you, go back to your body first. What's the home base communication happening? How's your nervous system? How do you feel like your adrenals are doing? Do you feel like your immune system's working overtime? You got analysis paralysis going in your head? Are you enjoying the smooth conversation happening throughout your body? Do you have different ideas or different strategy that has been communicated? Other things to consider at this new moon as well are these ideas of, past conversations. The moon is a body that can travel, it's very watery, it can go well deep into our past, into, our ancestry. Are there stories? Are there memories? Are there conversations that are coming up for you from the past? And it's like, oh, I loved when I did that with my grandmother, or I loved going there to see that with my aunt or my grandfather or whoever, Are there memories that are coming up for you at this time, and you're kind of watching them play out in your present reality? That's something very much so to consider as we're experiencing that moon and Gemini energy. Now, it's a pretty quiet day as we're traveling through Tuesday, but then we're going to come again into Wednesday, where we'll be back at a void of course energy. So there's kind of this semblance of rest and breathe and thought process and review that's going on as we're ramping up and getting ready for this full moon. Now, later in the day, as we are traveling on Wednesday, we're going to see the sun in a sextile to Chiron. And that sextile aspect, remember, creates not only the pocket of opportunity, so something is there, it's happening, there's an ease and availability for you, but then we're going to intelligently take action on it, okay? So we're going to see this aspect again when we get into June. But right now, where we've got the sun that is light, heat, life, and vitality, right, happening against Chiron, who is the wounded healer, but also deeply built into that wound is the medicine. And it's not only your medicine, but it's the medicine you can provide for other people. So as we consider this aspect coming together, the first thing that comes to my mind is service, right? Like, where are you going to be able to be helpful to someone at this time? And because this is a transit in the general reading, everyone is underneath it. No one's exempt from it. So is there, is someone presenting themselves to help you? But I also just think that this is a fantastic day to really, truly look for where you can be helpful or of service to someone, which does not mean you are out here trying to save someone, right? Saving someone is sometimes a great way to keep them from actually developing the skill to help themselves. So where can you be helpful to someone. And likely what you'll notice is that that someone that you're trying to be helpful to has the same pain point you do. They've been struggling with something in their identity, they've been struggling in their energy, or maybe it's even something you struggled with before and now you've come to the other side. And so as they present themselves, or you present themselves, or you present yourself to them, however that works, you find that you're like, oh, we can really talk in a sense of depth and compassion and understanding with each other as to how we're going to navigate this energy. So later in the day on Wednesday, we're going to see that moon enter into the energy of Cancer, where it's at home, it's very lunar. Eat something delicious at home, nurture your home space, nurture the body space. Again, there's kind of this lunar connection to things of the past. Is there a favorite meal that somebody that you love used to make and you really enjoyed eating that, and kind of getting into that? But whatever it is, like, kind of go back home, think about that, and get your comfort and your security on in your nurturing sector, okay? When we get to Thursday, we are going to see Venus in this, this is a really beautiful trine to the south node, but vice versa too. We're going to see it connecting with that north node as well. Now, as Venus comes into these easy aspects with the nodes, first of all, remember Venus is an attracting energy. So it's attracting in, attracting in, attracting in, right? So this is the motion or the vibration of what we're doing. And while there is an easy aspect on the table, we're going to have the opportunity to attract in opportunity this week. So this is a great day. Now, I know we've got the full moon coming up, so some people are going to have their full moon rituals going on and things like that, but I think this is also a really great opportunity to attract an answer of what needs to come and what needs to go. Coming in the north node, going in the south node, right? And you can attract the opportunity, the information. You can also have a really strong conversation today, my friends, about what you value anymore. Do you value this particular thing? Do you value this energy? Do you value this budget? Do you value this therapist? Do you value this collaboration anymore? Is it still valuable to you? Because Venus is also it's an energy that questions value. Does this have worth? Does this build worth? Is this a good resource? Venus is also about money. So in that vein, we see the resource conversation coming up. But the other side of it, I think, is very relational, about relationships. Is this still a valuable relationship in your life? And we're called under that ease of energy to have a look at that, okay? When we get to Friday, we have got a couple things going. First of all, we've got the sun in a square with Uranus. So they are making a point. They're making an angle here. And as two planets square up against each other, what's happening is it's saying we need you to take an action. The square is the 911 of our aspects. It's like, do something. Do something about this, okay? Now, we're going to see this aspect again when we get into August, but as Sun squares Uranus, remember, this is my light, my heat, my motivation, what I'm doing, what I'm about, where I want to shine at this particular point in the season. And Uranus is over here having just come out of retrograde not too long ago in this energy of Taurus. So one of the things that could be happening is you are sick and tired of feeling like you can't move forward. You're like, why are you harshing my mellow? Why are you pushing against my motivation? Why is this pushing against my motivation? So it's kind of this sense where you want to break out. You want to have your own personal rebellion, or I like revolution better than just rebellion, right? Because then you're trying to evolve towards something. I also want to point out too that this can be an energy where I say this, I feel like I say this a couple transits every year, but sometimes we've had to have a breakdown, but this is the breakthrough kind of energy. So what's coming back to your table? That Uranian energy is out of retrograde. So what have you seen now where you're like, if I'm going to be vital, if I'm going to be making the most of what I have, of the most of the way I'd like to shine, what do I need to adjust so that I can be free? Uranus. So breakthrough kind of energy is very much so available. Later in the evening, we're going to see the moon come back into a void, of course. So it's like, breathe. Sit down and be humble, right? Sit down, be humble. Enjoy that energy. Okay, as we roll into Saturday, we're coming in, of course, with that void, of course, moon, but then we've got the moon moving into the energy of Leo. Not quite time for the full moon yet. We're going to do that on Sunday, but as the moon moves into Leo, you might start feeling this ramp up. Right? You're feeling this ramp up of I'm feeling like I need to say some things. Some things are coming to my mind. Some things are coming to my heart in how I need to express myself. The things that I want, the things that bring me joy. Maybe even your children are bringing you some kind of information. But in that fire energy, moon in fire, will say it usually, right? They'll say what they're thinking. They'll say how they're feeling. So this could be a very expressive couple days that you're dealing with as we're getting moved into this Sunday energy. Now, later in the day, we're going to see Venus in a square to Mars. So when the lovers square each other, think about that. If you've ever been in a relationship where you've seen two people who really love each other and they get into a square, sometimes you have to square. You have to call each other on what is going on. And this is Venus calling out Mars, and Mars is in retrograde. So Mars has been like pacing, thinking about this. Mars is direct. It's been in retrograde and it's not out of that post-retrograde shadow energy. So it's been pacing a little bit. And the tension or the anxiety or the pressure, kind of feeling like a sardine, has been very, very real for this Mars energy, and thus a translation for us as well. So as Venus is squaring Mars here, it's like, hold on a second. Hold on a minute. I'm actually trying to show you where there's a pressure relief valve. And if you will just stop making it all about you, stop being so tense, stop being so stubborn and holding in here, you can actually hear what I'm saying and take an action that will relieve some of this tension and will attract to you, Venus, a little bit of relief. So this is, it's an interesting energy to have as these two are going toe-to-toe kind of with each other. And if you've ever been in a relationship, I think this moment where it's like you're just not listening. It's not that bad. We're not all effed. What about this? Can you see it from this perspective? Because if we can see it from this perspective, perhaps we can jump forward, we can get some direction, get some footing. But whatever it is, just staying in the tension is not something that we can do. I mean, it's really interesting when you see that conversation come. Okay, as we get to Sunday and we're bringing in the 5th, we're going to bring in the first full week of February this week. We're going to have the full moon at 16 degrees of Leo. Now, I've told you that 16 degrees is a very big number. We've seen it repeating over and over and over since 2022, and we're carrying this here into 2023. This 16 degree spot. Also, when we go back to the November 2022, on November 8th, we go back to that eclipse that was happening in Taurus. It was lighting up that 16 degree spot. And so now we've got this full moon in a fixed square to that point in your chart. So whatever was revealed to you and has continued to be revealed from that eclipse that was happening in November, now you're really getting some speak up underneath you at this particular full moon about those things. Now, this full moon is asking you to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment, okay? So again, in the energy of Leo, it's a fire moon. This is a fire moon. It is sitting square to the node, to Uranus. You're going to want to say something that creates a breakthrough, and I love it. I absolutely love it, because you don't have to be rude, right? You don't have to be rude and nasty, but you do need to say whatever it is that you're saying with your chest out. Say it with your chest out, because if you say the thing, it can allow the course correction, the ending, the acknowledgement, or the adjustment that is needed for you to say, this is who I am. This is how I need to express myself. This is what I need. It's not all about the we. This is what I need in order to be my unique self, to do this in my way, right? And it really calls for those shoulders back, chest up, and for us to speak that out so that we can create this breakthrough, so that we can have this engaging energy that ultimately is the resource. That north node is with Uranus. So this is the resource for you to be able to speak up. Now, it is a full moon. It's a lunar thing. So I will tell you, again, you don't need to be rude, and you do maybe need to watch your mouth or watch your tone, right? Take some of that bass out of your voice, depending on who you're talking to. Because while we are invited to the conversation of speak up for who you are, your own individuality, these kinds of things, you're not exempt for how you deliver that information to people. So we want to keep that in mind as well, okay? Like, you're not the king or queen of everybody's jungle, just your own. And so remember, if we're all having this moon, you might say a thing and somebody else is like, oh, well, I'm the king or queen of this jungle, and they say something back. So to the best of your ability, right, without being rude or being something negative that is going to purposely throw a ripple into your pool of life and cause problems in a harm-bringing kind of way, try to avoid that. But you know what, you guys, let's just be real. Sometimes you have to just tell people where they can go ahead and put it, right? Like, you have to. That's the thing. And by you speaking that truth, it does put a ripple in that we wouldn't prefer, but it's also what it needs to be. So really use your intuition, use your discretion here at this particular full moon, but just realize what also is coming up is an opportunity for you to have this energy that invites a lot of breakthrough. Sometimes it's a breakdown before it's a breakthrough, okay? All right, my absolutely beautiful astrology friends, I hope you have a gorgeous week. I hope the slides were useful. You've kind of got an idea of how the energies are going to be navigating for you. And maybe you've even got a situation kind of coming to mind where you're like, yeah, I need to speak to that. I need to speak up about that. I need to have the conversation about that, or whatever it is. And this gives you the courage to kind of know that cosmically you're supported as well, okay? All right, my friends, I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.